For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step and then another, until a realization hits me. I never told the woman my name. You're just now catching on to that? Something pierces the horizon ahead of me. A building nuzzled into a tall cliffside, but so sharply out of place it might as well be a hallucination. It drips with extravagance and honeyed mahogany, an ardent jewel of architecture. A row of dark silhouettes stand out on the horizon. Trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jolting tenrids. Soulless, several of them watch me in the distance like statues. I don't think. I just run, exploding into a messy spring. I push my legs as fast as they take me towards that decorated building. Flashes of last night chase me, the gushes of blood and screams of death, the smell of burning flesh and sour belly. I can't go through that again, and I won't. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. I grasp for air, my lungs burning from exhaustion. I'm desperate to be safe, but when I process my surroundings, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my visions with a lurid, unholy red. Instinctually, my hand leaps to my mouth. But the rotting stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Pulling my eyes away from the pool, I take in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Sitting pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here despite how eerily empty it is. Well, you know, horror movies do this for a reason, so we're just gonna do this. Hello? Is anyone here? My voice echoes across the cavern. My voice echoes across the cavern without response. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for... Oh wow, these are a lot of options. The topmost, the closest one, the bottommost. We'll go with the middle. I search for a note in front of me. It reads, "Dear Mother, don't cry for me. I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye, but we'll meet again in another life. I love you very much. From Iris. P.S. If you ever see me, never speak to me again." It's written in cursive. I've never seen such a beautiful handwriting. Before I could ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty, vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper, something wrong. Something familiar. It watches. Something familiar. It's watching me. Hey. I spring around and come face to face with a patch of soulless. They clutter and growl, 10 rods and spikes flaring threateningly, all different sizes and species, but sharing one identical trait. Glowing Carson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring and I'm cornered. Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks. That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze. The sneers quieting. I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafts. You look lost, little sparrow. His gaze is a violent Carson, one that shears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. Whoa, he looks pretty cool. I like the little horns. Oh, he has 2 down here too. Interesting concept, I'm liking it. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over. First with the scarred woman, now the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. And the shrouded darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and curl around the wooden beam. And the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and curl around the wooden beams. I can't focus. The soulless growls ring in my ear. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. Hey. Eyes on me. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. And for a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? Oh, I love that response. I'm distracted. I mean, that would be the polite way to say, but I'm really tempted to go with the fuck you. We'll get to that in the next run where I do the opposites. I'm kind of distracted by the soulless about to Mongol me. Only on my command. I love how he says bastard. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking, posterizing more than anything else. You tamed them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I don't do anything wrong? Trespassing. And that's punishable by death? He gives me a nonchalant shrug. I called out earlier to see if anyone was here. Were we supposed to play hide and seek? Didn't hear you. My voice stops in my throat. This man's Tourette's coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my brain for a way to diffuse the situation. Well, I mean, we did step into his territory and imposed on him. I feel like asking I need help would be more opposing, so let's see what option 2 gets us. Tell me what you want. I'm not in the mood for guessing games. Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp huff, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. He rushes to my face and fires to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not one that's soulless. Our one command from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrapping all too well, the hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. Oh, okay. Very pretty man. With a ravery sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thump that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster, with an imposing figure that towers over me. I couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by the lantern light, his features are stronger and sharper. Jeez Louise, he definitely looks taller than the other people we've seen so far. Yeah, he definitely does tower over us. I do like oh, there I go again. I do like the red over his eyes. It's kind of giving me, Chinese mythology. I don't know what he is, but, I noticed from the stuff that I watch and the things that I kind of read, they do depict, like, some of, like, the supreme evils having, like, a certain look to them, and they wear makeup in comparison to, like, the cultivate officials in the heavens, whereas they're more kind of, like, muted in colors, kind of serene colors, earthly colors. But, like, the supreme evil is always dowry and kind of, like, outrageous, bright, gorgeous colors to kind of indicate who they are. So it's interesting that he has this theme going with him, too. Oh, I just realized one's in and one's out. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards. And find nothing to set my foot on. I had forgotten my back was to the sea spring. I fall, right before a warm hand clenches my lower back. I'm hovering above the sea spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing Carson eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weighed nothing, he guides me back to solid ground and steps back. Following a sudden gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us dissipate. Following a sudden gesture from his fingers, the soulless around him disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt, it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some sitting pillows out of the walkways, checks the contents of the kettle with the scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So that's it. I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Then why'd you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I jerk a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're as is, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this was your territory. She also said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Arsis picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of the sea springs, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. Oh, he's so cute with his little smile. His pleasant smile stretches across his face, ear to ear. Then in an instant, it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about his gang again. Starting to think something happened to his gang. Something he did to them. What do you need the sea springs power for? Depends. Can it cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in a questioning glare. When he notices, he returns with an amused smirk. Ah, that is very amusing. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow. The sea spring could cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the sea spring. My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the strange liquid makes my gut curl. Is there a price? Always. As it taps his temple with a finger. You lose it. A little bit. That's it. Might have already beat it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who's ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless, one big happy family in your head. My blood runs cold. I've heard of those before. Group minds. My attendants used to tell me that my power granted people access to a higher plane of understanding, a group mind of my own making. All lies. But something tells me this is real, even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ezra strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I got somewhere to be. There are still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before any of them. I was told to come here for help. Instead, I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again, and my eyes dart back over to the sea spring. A long ripple dances on the quiet surface. I took Azura's advice and clumped my mouth shut. Azura approaches a nearby Solus, a lunky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of trendreds. Several sets of Carson eyes adores its sides. If Fork's tails wiggles rapidly when Isis squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tent rods, scratching its chin and pets its head. A gentle smile places across Ezra's lips. The affection he holds for the Solus is painfully clear. I jerk my eyes away, my stomach flattering at the tender sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Isla's lips, it toddles over to the entrance obediently, tail sliding. I watch the Solus warrenly. Pretty is not a word I'd use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds obscured. And if I decide to drink, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine. I'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the Solus at a measurable distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease, and when I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Aslet's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with a curt nod. Outside, more Carsons eyed Solus scattered about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bugs, in the bakes and mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the Solus looks over its shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. And I can't sense that massive heartbeat anymore. Maybe it was all in my head. The Solus sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar Carson eyes. Oh, do we get to pet it? I low-key want to pet it. It is a definite option, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna pet it. As nervous as I am, I carefully guide my fingers through the Solus's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Aris had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are smooth, almost healing my fatigue. When it's satisfied, the Solus sprints around and scrubs back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Edored, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible, tame soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Edored. The city labyrinth, even in daytime, has become a warren of treacherous alleys. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I make my way through the windy streets, doing my best to keep my bearings towards the Wetwick. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? Sounds like somebody's walking. The fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle, a florence of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink, and I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry on my way. And though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moment passes and nothing happens, I begin to wonder, maybe I really did imagine that noise. I turn the next corner and my thoughts come streaming. Screaming to a halt. My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins, and only one thing is clear amongst the haze. The soul is that attacked the caravan. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. A gallon of intestine spills from the plaited flesh. Blood guards the cobblestone, and for a mercy, the soulless is too distracted by its meal to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stone, but I can't just stand here. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards when the wet slippery soars. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet slippery sounds don't abate, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crunches underneath my heel. The world seems to slow to a crawl as the soulless rise its head, blood dripping from its tentarides. Every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly on me. It's really here. It came back for me. Uh-oh. Nah, I don't think I need to save, but at this point it's just a habit. So I'm just gonna keep going with that. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkening streets. Behind me, a piercing blaze splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest, and I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of the streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering grasp, glowing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arms swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and scatter around a corner. I take 3 running strikes before the bottom drops out of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way. A dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alleyway. It's no longer running. It doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lingering the streets are lit. There must be people inside. It's a long shot, but... Ooh, this... I could scream for help, but I doubt anybody's gonna come. So... I mean, if one's already traveling the midst of the city, do you really think anybody's gonna come over to help you when this is probably normal for them to deal with? I whirl, grabbing at the handle of the nearest door. It turns completely, the hinges creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope before a weight hits the door from the other side and it slams shut. The click of the lock turning is grimly final. In this wretched world, few people still stick their head out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soul gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges for me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slickling cobblestone betrays me. I fall, spiraling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But the impact never comes. Ooh, who is this? I rarely crack one eye open, then another, not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Whoa! I love how they draw each character, like the difference in each of their appearances. I really love this one though. I love how the eyelashes, oh, there I go again. I love how the eyelashes contort the eyes, and then the eyeball, the color of the pupils and stuff. That's chef's kiss right there. I love the hair and the unique design of the clothing. It's so very different for each one of them, and I'm very much enjoying that differences. The fashion wardrobe is really good. We've seen that person, right? At the gates? At the suburban gates? The made-up word that I do not know how to pronounce. That I'm just going to continue to pronounce as this because it just seems right to me at this point. Yeah, really digging his, really digging their design. Moonlight silvers the edge of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood, and the soulless... My eyes drip past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and wax. A red pulse spreads slowly from under its body. Numbed with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice. I can hardly believe it. Well, I gingerly take the offered hand. The stranger's gaze strips to my bandages, pale lips apart on the break of a question, then close again. With a strain burrowing their slightly frame, they pull me to my feet. Something about them is strange, unlike any human or monster I've ever met. I can't quite place my finger on why. As soon as I'm on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay there. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless, gangly body. With their back towards me, I realized I saw their hooded silhouette at the Sambora. What witty responses we have? So we have the top one, you saved me, you're shorter than I thought! That's gold right there. That's for next run. Maybe I just might, I don't know. I might just make like my own separate run to see what all the other choices lead me up to. If you want, I can make a video about it. I don't know if it would be worth it to make you guys go through and see everything that I've already done, but choosing different choices. If you do want me to, you could just leave a comment and I'd be willing to upload those other choices so you get an insight on what the other options are, because the game does specifically state that this may be a demo. They do offer a lot of insight to things that, given on the choices, if you do it more than one run through. But that bottom one, oh, I really want to click it, but not this run, not this run. I'm torn between these two though. Well, I mean, we could state the obvious, but I'm very curious as to what they would say if we went with the middle one. You saved me. I shouldn't have had to. Jeez, not a very nice demeanor. He's more rude in a sense compared to like all the other ones. Like the demon one. The monster one with the red eyes had a reason to be upset, but he had like a soft, gentle side to him. This one just straight up screams. I would call him like the emo character in this group, because in the group you always have like the wild one, wild fun one. You have the cunning, cunning. I want to say sadistic, but that's not where I wanted to go with that. Cunning, sarcastic one, and then you have the jolly feel-good one, and then you have the straight up just like it is what it is kind of situation. Then you have this motherfucker that's just emo as fuck. Like, it's the whole appearance, the whole way that they hold themselves is just emo. Their harsh response takes me aback. I mean, do you not see how they're dressed? Sorry if I keep calling it a he. Like, I know it's a he, but I still would prefer it to call it them until we get like an actual like justification. Before I could formulate a response, they continue. What are you thinking? Traveling alone at night? Oh, Papa Bear mode is on. Look at that Papa Bear mode. You see his face? Papa Bear to the extreme. Being protective over what? You don't even know us. Why are you being a Papa Bear to someone you don't know? I mean, you could have just easily ignored us like the rest of these people with their lit up houses. This is far from the worst thing, hunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First they saved me and now they stole me. Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. See, emo! I stand by it. Very emo. Or avoid attachment too. Or not avoid attachment. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the actual term is, but it's one of those people that don't know emotional contact or physical contact, where they'll just openly and bluntly tell you the situation with a lack of tone, so probably like an indifference tone to it, and that may come off a little bit rude, but I feel like there's more to him. Their attention glides back to the soulless corpse. They examine it with an indescribable expression. I clear my throat to feel the silence. I'm Winter. Mean. Sounds like you're saying mean. Suddenly, Mean tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the back of the Soulless's neck. The Soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Hamid leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper until there's a sickening crack, and the creature goes limp. My heart throbs in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Hamid straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put the wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blade from their knife. I swallow, my eyes still glued to the cooling corpse. Why is a Soulless inside the city? Mean looks at me, eyes searching before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the cities. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is constructed to stop them. The Simbora's patrol don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Simbora. I wouldn't go that far. Their eyebrow abruptly frowns and they shield their knife, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? I came from the bounty on that Soulless, and you were in the way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again, or you'll be dead by sunrise. Their answer is stingingly harsh. Ooh, very interested to see what the other responses are and their demeanors to that. We'll play nice. I hold my hands up, trying to forestill any more sloppy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my loungings. What makes you think I'd help you? What makes you think I'll help you? You've already helped me out once tonight. Why not a second time? That seems to catch them off guard. Their brows knits and they look away, scolding. How troublesome. Winter. I turn surprised by the voice. Carlos walks down the street towards us. His white and gold clothing is pristine despite the grim of the city. Hello, Heen. I see that soulless was your work. Hello, Heen. I see that the soulless was your work. Hameen shrugs. There's a formality to the way they regard each other. Oh, they give you a lot of... Ooh, so you could save all the potentials. I didn't know you had friends, I mean. I feel like that's too soon. We don't really know him and we're already... Or, damn it, there I go again. We don't really know them, so I feel like if we're gonna jab at them, I think it would be like further down in the route with them, because... Or maybe actually, he's... There I go again. They're harsh, so would it be fine? I feel like with the other ones we were able to get away, but I don't know about them. This lovely little piece of character, I'm gonna have to stew on it. And then feel about. So let's ask our man here, the one that patched us up, the one with the golden eyes that we specifically called golden eyes. So you know them, Karaz. Hameen is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. Winter needs to get back to wherever she is staying before she wanders into the jaws of another soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Winter? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Both their faces fall. Uh-oh! Oh, I don't like how one just kind of looked away. Well, I was pointing at the wrong one. This one looks away, and this one is just like too stunned to say anything. I see. Would you like a guide? It might be preferable to wandering about alleyways. That would be nice. Malene clicks their tongue and sighs, sounding mightily put out. Going to the Amraz district, that gruddy crow's pick. No, they have different names. They call it the Low Town. Now they're calling it something else. Come, this way. Despite Melene's clear distaste, when Chris leads me down the street, they keep pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Melene's eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Chris is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. Oh, hello. My sugar glitter's gonna come out. Are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Malene gives me is answer enough. I catch Kuros hiding a slight smile. I suppress a sigh and resign myself to having a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. The route Kuros takes is completely different from my slow meandering earlier in the morning. In no time at all, he cuts through the darkening streets and twisty alleys. It seems like half the city has poured into the Le Rose district. It seems like half the city has poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assaults my ears from every direction. That's a funny word to put right here, so she's not enjoying that. Yet the most noise still comes from the Wetwick. Its doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves towards the door and Haemin lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Leander. Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. As soon as the doors open, a wave of stickly heat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Kura stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amongst the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his request. Kuras glances over his shoulder at Haemin and me before gliding through. How could anyone breathe in here? Haemin follows Kuras at a clip pace. Leander's right where I left him. Although he traded places with the bartender, he holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminescent green liquid. Now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna guess what's in those. You're never gonna guess what's in those. Leander slides the glasses across the bar, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid successions. Iris leans against the bar, an elbow prompt on the counter. What? He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. But Ear, perched on the bar's counter beside Iris, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What do we have here? A bucket of boogies? Leander's nose treasure? You even worse. Ramir's lips twitch and his ears flatten when Eris offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniffle and Eris just snuggers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Eris throws back his head and drowns the shot. Drinking that. A dark look crosses Eris' face. It's chewy. Chewy. Wait, let me try that again. Behind me, Amin grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. If it isn't Chris and Amin. At the sound of Leander's voice, Amin Pill's eyes grow wide and they look ready to bolt until Chris sets a hand on their shoulder. I promise this will not take long. Amin's eyes dart from Kura's hands to his face, then softens. Fine, you first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I met today know each other. Good evening, Leander, Aris. Another drinking competition, I presume? Oh. Oh, is it evening already? Could have sworn it was earlier. He's blushing again! Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Akros acknowledges Leander and Eris with the slightest nod, ignoring Vir entirely, not that Vir seems to mind. So does he not like half? I don't understand. So why is he ignoring the fox? But he acknowledges the full-on monster, this guy, but ignores him. That's funny. He tilts his head and an ambush smile curves his lips when he spots a Ming looming silently behind Curtis. I almost didn't see you there, Ming. Looking for your booster seat? Oof! Ouch! Ming pushes their hood back and they level Ramir with a cool look. I thought Ariz wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Ramir's tail gives an angry twitch. At the first sight of an impending fight, Lemire vaults clear over the counter and he slides in between Ariz and Kuris. Now, let's try and keep the peace. It's not every day the established doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Caress's shoulders. You're finally taking me up on that drink, right, Caress? I am afraid not. We are mildly escorting Winter back to her lodgings. Caress gestures in my direction and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Winter! It's been too long. Everyone, this is Winter. She is new to Edored. Yeah, buddy, man, bro, homie. We kind of already met them. I wouldn't even say it was an accident. It's a very much faith intended. We've met them. I feel 5 pair of eyes fix onto me and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Oh, I forgot I did that. Oh, I accidentally saved right there. Whoops. Oh no, I didn't. It was just a misprint. Oh, what do I want to say? I feel like this ties into exactly how we're talking. Hi. Again. Hi, everyone. Again. Just the awkwardness in that. You can just feel it. Again. Wait. You've already met everyone? Az and Veer level me with sudden, amused expressions. Vermeer's tail gives a lazy wag. We did. Not that long ago, either. I'm starting to suspect she's stalking me. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. Oh, look at that. That's a pretty little sight. His knuckles are fucked up. What did he do? I'm starting didn't expect something about a mailing. That's not their name. Hemling? Hemling. But this is an interesting crowd. I'm really enjoying it. They all have like interesting vibes. Not what I would think they would be hanging out with. Like I was not under the impression these two and this one over here even knew each other as a group setting. So to see them all at the bar together definitely gives you an insight that this place houses a variety of entities. Oh, I forgot to read that. I got so mixed up on talking. This calls for drinks. What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turned to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Idra, I feel a glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. Low, pleasant rumbles of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Well, color me surprised. You make friends fast, Winter. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances? A wise man once said that acquaintances are mainly friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. Yeah, you would say that. A wise man, you said that here last week. I can hear Mayleen's lip curl with the distaste from across the bar. Leander clears his throat and continues unperturbed. Let's toast to Winter's health. Care to join in, Doctor? Chris politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Henleen? No. No. A resounding pop pierces the down of the bar, and we all turn in the direction of the noise. Vamir looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, pouring from a bottle so old its labels has been worn blank. They serve champagne here. Since when? Vermeer pauses in the middle, licking champagne from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't know, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guest. I know you got an expensive taste. And then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, as this Kenneth hits head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Aziz regards Leander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glitter in his Carson eyes look downright dangerous. What'll it be, Winter? Whoa, what are the options? I'll take that drink. Water's fine. You know, special occasion. We don't know these people. We're in an unknown place, very foreign to what we're used to. I mean, we used to be in a temple. In a temple until we got kicked out. So why not take the offer and just go wham bam to that? I'll take you up on that drink, as long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock until you try them. They taste better than they look. Somehow I doubt that, but I hold my tongue long enough for Leander to go behind the bar. He's lying, isn't he? When I glance at Liz, he only shrugs. Like I said, they were chewy. Probably poisoned, too. He considers his own drink a terroir of amber-colored whiskey. Leander tried to kill me 12 times by now. That's always a gamble. Vamir clicks his tongue in disapproval. When he finally looks my way, it's a half-lidded gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. Were I you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He fans his fingers over his chest, voice dropping with a fake revenge. Though Edwick is one of the finest drinking establishments in all of Edere, while you're here, you might as well partake of the signature watered-down drink in steel knit leather. He swipes his hand towards a chipped ceramic bowl filled with splendid, sparkly jerky that I can only assume is nut leather? What is with the food in this city? As abysmal as you make it sound, this place is completely packed. Not bad at all. Depending on the day, the food's edible. Ez takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. And before I can ask what he means, Leander returns with a tumbler that he sets in front of me. Uneven clucks of ice bubble in a pool of reddish-purple alcohol. I sniff the drink suspiciously, and to my relief, this time, all I smell is a sharp, clean scent of gin with an undercoat of fermented fruit. Fermented fruit. I sniff the drink suspiciously. To my relief, this time all I smell is the sharp, clean scent of gin with an undercurrent of fermented fruit. Relax, it is just a local specialty. Plum gin. Oh, relax, it is just a local specialty. Plum gin. Although, if you're feeling more adventurous. I shake my head and Leander rips his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright, everyone. Let's toast. May winter's day in Edera be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers. Leander, Ez, and Vermeer raise their glasses in unison. Hameen only crosses their arms, and Kuras watches with the polite indifferences. I tap my drink back. The plum gin is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp medical edge, it goes down smooth. One sip softens the edge of my vision. The next fades the dim of the crowded bar into a lone, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Winter? I'm guessing you meet Kuras first. It would be more accurate to say that I found her. He saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit, I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. Leander makes a choked noise. Somewhere behind him, Hameen sighs. She hella she misled them by just dropping that without prior context to that situation. It's not what you think. Winter was in grave condition, and I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Kura's disappointment, and catch Reese snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the topic. Kura isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen. I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Heimin for you. Leander reaches for Heimin, but they duck under his arms with precise ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk, considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I might have gotten a little distracted. No, he's blushing. Amin's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, Amin. Don't. Less soulless alive, the better. And for a heartbeat, Amin flickers towards Alice, and their lips twisted. Alice is too busy nodding along to Vermeer's aesthetic pantomime of stabbing to notice, lost no doubt in a throbbing discussion. I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Amin and Kura share a brief look, and then the doctor speaks up. Very well. There is something I must discuss with Leander, if you will excuse us. Winter. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my gin in silence. Or so I think until I hear a voice so soft and low, it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide. I turn to find the Carson and the pink eyes trained on me. They're attempting! They just leave us with the monsters? I love that. It's not lost on me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day, monster or not. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day, monsters or not. There's no telling what I'd do if either one of them pushed me again. Don't tell me Leander's already snuck off to get his knob slobbed out back. He's got business with Cruz and me. Amin. 2-on-1 business, isn't he lucky? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Vermeer has grown and noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come join us. He pats the empty bar stool beside eyes, but I hesitate. The smile Vermeer wears is sweet and distinctively sly, and with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Aiz will mess with me next. We don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me and you threatened me. Me, still. Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you. And then you had the gall to kick me out just so you can go drinking. He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Vermeer suddenly slops forward, Glossamer's sleeves pulling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Aiz sets his hand on Vermeer's waist, nearly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions, get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. The name's Vermeer, hunter extraordinaire. Vermeer's right hand falters to his chest and he bows his head, flinching when his hair falls into his eyes. Eas doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. Uh-oh! Do we chime in? Why not? It's winter. Vermeer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly sliding behind him, and then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Winter. He says my name slowly and deliberately, souring every syllable. A tingle jumps down on my spine, and I quickly turn my gaze away. Eas marks at my reaction over the rim of his glass. Is something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goggling me into another ridiculous game. And while their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the gen. Flash of white over Eas' shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Kuros heads for the door, and I don't see Leander or Hemine, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Vermeer hums and waggles his fingers at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone, but just as I'm nearing Kuros... Oh! I staggered, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both my thighs. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way, shit stain. My words spill out on their own. You watch it! I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking gen. The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can come close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor.